FedNow coin goes live today. Are these bandits trying to backdoor a CBDC? This is around the blockchain. Thank you for joining, everybody. We're going to talk about Kuwait banning crypto. We're also going to talk about Caroline Ellison's diary was released and also the FedNow coin. But we got some great guests, so please hit that like button. We're going to start. Long time no see. We have Jayson Casper. Welcome back, Jayson. I'm glad that you fit us into your schedule because harvest season is close. Do you have any produce you're looking to harvest soon?
Lots of Bitcoin and potatoes. That's pretty much the.
Do you have that Monsanto Bitcoin, or do you have natural?
Oh, of course. No, I spray it with Roundup, and it just keeps pumping.
All right, don't get in a bucket of it next time for me. Also on today, we have Crypto Lifer looking sharp in the vest. Is he going to do better than the rest, or will he just simply be the best? Crypto Lifer, how are you doing today?
I love you, DC. Thank you, man. God bless you, brother.
Always a better time when you're on the show. Also, last but not least, we have Cowboys of Crypto. He's not. He's second to last. Cowboys, how goes it? Are you ready to talk about the Fed coin?
I can strut while sitting down, brush my teeth while eating dinner, and give a like while on this live stream. I'm ready for ATB.
Well, you know what the viewers can do? They can watch and hit the like button at the same time. So please go ahead and do that. And then, actually, last but not least, we have Mind Your Biz, and he's keeping Ledger's Twitter, in the right lane there. Really good tweet. You're going to have to follow his socials. Mind Your Biz, how are you doing today? Great tweet, by the way.
I'm doing well. Thanks so much. You know what? If we don't keep these guys accountable, who will? Right?
Hey. It's about ETH Classic. You got to go check out that tweet, folks. It's really great stuff. But first, let's talk about Caroline Ellison and SBF. We have a picture of them. You might remember the happy-go-lucky, on-again and off-again couple behind Alameda and behind FTX. Well, her diary was just released as court evidence, folks. That's her right there. I think we actually have a picture of the diary, but the passages, they're written by hand as well as on Google Documents, and they are now submitted for her view of Alameda and how it worked, and is now going to be submitted as evidence. But sometimes the relationship in her writings may have led to some miscommunication, may have led to some mismanagement at times. I got a couple excerpts we're going to read. Sometimes relation. All right, not giving you. This was her talking about taking power. They had recently had a current split. She said,
white table.
Not giving you the contact you wanted felt like the only way I could regain a sense of power. Also, another passage, running Alameda doesn't feel like something I'm comparatively advantaged at or well suited to do. The trial of SBF, of course, is going to be scheduled in Manhattan. It's about 3 months from now. It's going to be interesting as we see more and more excerpts of this diary get released here. But, sometimes I hear a saying, it's called crazy like a fox. Maybe there's ulterior motives. Maybe what we're seeing on the surface isn't everything that, could be gleaned. But Mind Your Biz, do you think that she was just journaling like normal, just putting regular excerpts in a diary, or was she maybe trying to document something for a later use?
Do I think she was trying to document something in her diary?
Yes.
For I don't want to say for non-personal reasons.
For non-personal reasons, I mean that's pure speculation. But here's the thing, right? Like people who use a diary, who journal every single day, they're a rare and dying breed. So when somebody does do that, I always question, like, who do you imagine is going to be reading this in the future? Like, and if you didn't start with that in mind, then like, can anything you write be trusted at all? Like, is it to your future self? Is it to your kids? Is it potentially to somebody in a courtroom down the line? Is it to your attorney? Is it a secret plea for help? You actually write your seed phrase in it multiple times over and over and over again, using a special cipher that only you know. This and more, I'm sure, will be uncovered in the coming court proceedings. But to answer your question as directly as possible, DZ, and not waste any more time monologuing, I wanted to make sure that the audience knows that they should journal. This is good. Journaling is good for you. But why would Carolyn do it? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Hey, maybe the polycule was so exciting, she just had to get some of these thoughts down, folks. Well, I'm looking, they had billions under management. Now, Jayson Casper, billions, tens of billions. What is your thoughts of two CEOs not communicating due to a lover's spat? Is there any room for that?
Well, I feel like in the case of FTX, there's room for something like that. I mean, it's one of the most legitimate seeming exchanges in the world, and it turns out, I mean, what the heck was even going on there? Worse than what Enron's lawyer said, it was worse than anything he's ever seen in his life. So it is very strange that there would be a lack of communication, but the drama continues to unfold. And I honestly think that it's probably how the media is going to try and present this now, is make it some kind of dramatic thing. Now we've got the diary and the love story between SBF and Sweet Caroline. She didn't even know if she was capable of her position. Interesting.
Yeah, well, man, I could go two different ways. We could talk about what is going to be the star of the Cowboy. I'll ask you this question. He brings up the relationship might end up being the star of the saga, if you will. You know, I'm sure that this will be a large portion of the movie or the docuseries or whatever they end up making and putting on Netflix starring Jonah Hill. What do you think about that? Will the star be the relationship and the polycule, or will it be the millions of customers who lost billions of dollars?
I think the star is clearly SBF, but let me tell you a true story to kind of illustrate this point. I had a friend who had a rat infestation in his attic. So I fashioned a bucket of water, a trap to catch these rats and drown them. Well, let me tell you something what I learned. Only the biggest rat dies first, okay? If you have a bucket of drowning rats, the biggest rat dies first. So I went up to the attic and I checked the bucket, and all the small rats were on top of the big rat, using it as like a life raft. And just they're using it to save themselves. And that's what we have here. FTX went down, and all the little small rats are clawing on top of that big rat and trying to drown him to save themselves. And in this case, in this narrative of FTX and this lovers quarrel, SBF is front and center, the biggest rat. Now, we don't have only SBF to thank for the whole drowning of FTX, because we have all these little rats to thank for that, all the fraud, all the lying, and really even ourselves, because we need to take responsibility for our own crypto, take responsibility for our own liberties. But to point it to who is the star, it's the biggest rat. It's FTX.
It's the biggest
SBF.
rat with the biggest mop of hair too. Trust me, I know something about that. All right. Well, to wrap it up on this topic, Crypto Lifer, she admitted, just like Jayson Casper says, she admitted she's not particularly well suited for the job. She admitted, maybe not even capable to perform the duties of the CEO. My question to you is that why she got the job, though? Do you think they potentially wanted someone, I don't want to say inept, but unable to cover all the malfeasance that might have been going on in the background?
No, it seems like the shady lawyer dude that's been kind of organizing this from the back end. I can't remember his name. I should know, but seems like he was kind of organizing all of this from the beginning. SBF, I think, also plays dumb here. Like, he knows a little more than he plays onto, but he knows he can play dumb. I think they looked at this pretty closely. I don't think they thought they were going to get caught, but I felt like they had a few back doors in case. For instance, they send forensics in there and they go through the accounting, and like the best accountants can't figure out. I mean, when you move the money 500 times, all back and forth, twisted, and like I looked at it one day and I saw the web of yarn. It was like money went from here, then went from there, then back to escrow, like from escrow here, then they got you represented FTF token, then got sold, then got like, it was insane. Like, the money trail was absolutely insane. But that's what happens, right? When you meet with Gary Gensler multiple times.
All right. Well, let's put up a picture of him one more time. Just this is Gary Gensler's golden child. On the right there, Mr. Effective Altruism himself, and then CEO Caroline Ellison on the left there. But all right, well, let's talk about the next topic here, and that is Kuwaiti crypto ban. That's right, in Kuwait. I think we misspelled that. I was like, are we talking about individual citizens? It is Kuwait there. Kuwait is banning crypto, folks. Similar to China, this is a fairly, relatively wealthy nation, at least per capita. They're about 60th. That's the actual real photo. You see the things, what will AI do to humanity in 10 years? That's their actual city today. Well, they're about 60th in GDP. Per capita GDP, they're ranked 30th, so they're pretty high. It's roughly around 40K annual per citizen there. But their financial regulators, the CMA, the Capital Markets Authority, they release a statement on crypto, just the industry overall here. They have a commitment to absolute prohibition on major operations involving cryptocurrencies, including payments, investments, and mining. Also bans local regulators from issuing any kind of crypto license for any business out there. The regulators say that the new regulations will align with the country's measures to, get this, They want to combat money laundering and terrorist financing, folks. The criminals use crypto. Therefore, we got to ban all crypto in the country there. But, you know, I threw out some numbers there, Jayson Casper. They're ranked 60th in GDP. They got 30th capita per spending. About 4.5 million people. But what do you think? Is this going to make any kind of mark on the sector? When China banned crypto, huge red candle. Will this create any kind of red candle?
Yeah, I mean, I think I could sum it up in a very sophisticated way by saying, nah. I mean, even when China bans crypto all the time, and yeah, it gives us a little, maybe something, but, you know, I don't think it's going to have any effect. And they're probably going to backpedal in the future because, you know, it's my belief that all CBDCs are going to somehow integrate existing blockchain networks. And so although we might not have crypto the way we have it today, eventually they're going to have to backpedal here because, I mean, we all know most money laundering right now is happening with fiat by, you know, some large criminal organizations. Some people call them governments.
I remember the pallets of money at Saddam's mansion. I think that was all cash there, folks. All right. Well, Cowboy brings up a good point.
Oh, it wasn't Bitcoin?
It might have been shekels or something. I think it was Doge. I'm pretty sure it was Doge, actually. Well, Cowboy, Absolutely. He says they're going to have to reverse course. I tend to agree with that assessment. What kind of timeline would you give that? How long are they going to say, we hate crypto, we're going to ban crypto? When are they going to say, well, actually?
Yeah, the timeline's probably negligible. We have to have a long timeline when we're in crypto. The banning of crypto in Kuwait is probably as significant as a fly on the backside of a horse's anus. There's 4 million people in the country, and China previously bans it and all the time, just like JC says. Here's the thing. I looked into Kuwait. I don't know anything about Kuwait and their infrastructure and their investing and all that kind of stuff. But I looked up an investor's risk report by ganintegrity.com. And I think it'd be interesting to go through this because it shows exactly what's the motivation for their ban. Corruption is a hurdle for businesses investing in Kuwait. The ruling family and the Kuwaiti elite control key economic activities and sectors. Kuwaiti law, and check this out, criminalizes the abuse of office, extortion, money laundering, and active and passive bribery, among other corruption offenses, but not the bribery of foreign officials. Bribery and facilitation payments and giving and receiving gifts are widespread despite it being illegal in Kuwait. So what I'm hearing from just this investor report is that I think they have a lot of problems that are going on, especially with money laundering. I don't know if it's particularly for any given reason. I just did the reading on this. But what happens in your body is you need blood to flow. But when there's a hole in there and blood is gushing out, you need a tourniquet. You need to stop that blood flow. And that's what they're doing here. They're providing a ban. They're stopping the blood flow until they get a hold or a grasp on what crypto is and how to control the situation. So they're just doing their job, not a big deal, and they're going to come around in the future.
All right. Well, yeah, I tend to agree. Let us know in the chat. Do you think they'll come around or are they going to try to ban it forever? Well, Mind Your Biz also did a little more research into our military spending. We do have a U.S. Army base in Kuwait. In 2020, that was most recent, 2021, we provided them $1.4 billion in military assistance. Do you think the U.S. played any role in their financial regulators saying we need to ban crypto?
That's a great question. I'm going to ask just a favor really fast before I get to it. Can you roll that photo of Caroline's diary one more time?
Yes. Let's do it. I think we have it. The producer's pulling it up right now. They grabbed it. They're putting it on the screen. You're about to see it any second now as it pops up here.
Looks ran through.
Oh. All right. That's 2 points.
I know. Was it worth it? Chat, tell us. All right. So anyway, so Kuwait and the American ties, right? And especially the potential ties to American military spending. Yeah, y'all know we like to spend money on our defenses, right? And the best defense is a strong presence internationally. Do I think that there's any potential tie there? Of course. Yeah, DZ, of course. You line that one up, I mean, like T-ball, right? I totally think that that's a strong possibility, that there's some sort of strategic purpose in the United States for exerting strong influence there, maybe. Outright telling the Kuwaitis that they have to do this, I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think we'll ever find out. But it does seem like the coincidences are just way too many to ignore. But I want to go beyond that and just say in that region, in that area, we know just based on the way that mining operations are running here in the United States. West Texas is a great example of this, for example, with the larger energy exploration companies, your Exxon Mobils and your BPs that have international outposts. All of these larger energy exploration groups, they're all interested in Bitcoin mining in particular because they're able to go and capture stranded carbon or capture stranded gas from some of this exploration. And it's not just from the fracking and other operations that people are upset about, but just on site, the drilling sites, anytime that there's any kind of flaring, natural gas flaring from other energy exploration, there's a huge opportunity to install Bitcoin mining operations, mobile Bitcoin mining units right there at the point of energy exploration. Kuwait is no exception. There's going to be some waste in some of their pipelines and in some of their energy exploration operations. So something's going on there that just doesn't quite add up, because most of the other oil-rich and energy-rich countries of the region are quite bullish on Bitcoin mining in particular. All the rest, potential speculation, as was mentioned by Cowboy Crypto, the risk of maybe there being some corruption being thrown into the mix, and worries about gifts and unsanctioned tips and gifts and bribes being thrown into the mix. All that seems like it's a drop in the bucket compared to the huge opportunity to add to the GDP and add to global interest in bringing investment capital into this country. So what you posit there as a theory, that the potential for it being really more political than anything else, yeah, I buy it. That tracks.
Yeah, I would say $1.4 billion annually, folks. That was at least in 2021. All right, well, Crypto Lifer, I know we're trying to guess and we're doing a little speculation here, but what is the real reason, you think, for the ban of cryptocurrency?
Funny, we got drowning rats lining it up like T-ball. I feel like I'm competing against Judy Blume and Dr. Seuss over here. You guys are amazing. I'm trying to rack my brain. As you guys were answering the question, I'm sitting there like, man, why would you do that? My whole thing is because you already launder tons of money. You sell tons of drugs behind the scenes, and that you want to make sure that you have control first before you let crypto even begin to start any even slice of your pie, So maybe someone in the back end was doing it and he wasn't giving a kickback. Someone high up in the government had ends in there, seemed to have been making money, and someone didn't pay the piper. Like someone didn't kick it down the road. And so they said, okay, you can't do that. You can do it our way. You can't do it your way. So we're going to ban it now so we can put you in jail and find you, go after you, use our resources to stop you. And maybe that money was also getting laundered and going after a political rival, someone that they didn't want in tow, maybe someone that the U.S. didn't have put in, So, on to Seth and how he kind of brought us down that rabbit hole there. It does seem to me like it was, they had control. We already know they were in cahoots because I remember my cousin went to the Gulf War. He was a Marine. And a lot of people, you got flown into Kuwait. Kuwait was, basically a big part of our military operation there. So we've already been buddies up with Kuwait. Someone somewhere was doing something with crypto, I feel like, and that money wasn't going where it was supposed to go. So they put the kibosh on it on the back end. And I'm sure a few years from now, they're going to be like nestled up with some type of FedNow program or something like that.
All right. Potential royal family rogue member, right? Maybe the nephew that was a little too into tech. Yeah, we don't like what you're doing over there. We see you. All right. This is all speculation, folks. I don't have any idea. All right. Well, let's talk about FedNow. It went live today, folks. That's right. FedNow is live. This is a huge collaboration amongst 41, I believe, banks so far, and 15 monetary companies right there. And, of course, the Federal Reserve, our favorite people. They're also involved. Well, it's an instant payment service working with these banks. Some of the banks, you maybe heard them, JP Morgan, Chase, maybe the world's or America's oldest bank, BNY Mellon, Wells Fargo, others involved. But our current system, we use Swift. It can take days at a time, at least over the weekend, hours, just to make a payment instantly settle or to have it finalized. Well, this is going to be an instantaneous settlement system that they're rolling out. Critics, however, saying this is the first step for CBDC, central bank digital currencies, in which they can control how you spend your money, maybe cut off that, you can't get that train ticket where people are having protests. You can't buy food because of that tweet. Well, the Fed stated, that they had a rebuttal. People say, hey, this is clearly a CBDC. They said, wait, the FedNow service is not related to digital currency. The FedNow service is neither a form of currency nor a step towards eliminating any form of payment, including cash. This is not a form to stop cash. That's what they say, at least here. Now, Cowboys Crypto, many people, they are making that link. They say, no, this is clearly a link to a CBDC. I looked at what they did in Nigeria with the e-Naira. It's a kind of a similar pattern that they're playing here. Well, the Fed flatly denies it. What is your take?
My take is that the FedNow payment system is bowling shoe ugly. I would use it like a tumbleweed soap bar. This is everything that we already are expecting from the Fed. Before we had cars, we had the Model T. Before we had planes, we had the Wright brothers Wright Flyer. And before we have CBDCs, we have the FedNow system. So yes, this is that step in the direction. I actually pulled out from the Federal Reserve website. It's a question and answer. They said, will the U.S. CBDC replace cash or paper currency? And their answer, the Federal Reserve is committed to ensuring the continued safety and availability of cash, and it's considering a CBDC as a means to expand safe payment options, not to reduce or replace them. So yes, they are considering it. Yes, this is a natural next step. Let's just use a thought process, a mental thought experiment. Let's say that you've been giving soda since your whole life to drink, and you're unhealthy and tired and overweight and irritable, and you could be better. And then someone gives you a sip of refreshing glass of water, and this is better for you. So you take a sip and you feel good, but you don't know if you like it or not. And then that same person giving you the soda gives you a jar of urine, pee, to drink instead of the soda. Well, you're going to drink that, and what's it going to do to you? It's going to drive you away from the urine, that is the fiat system, that is the cash system that we have now, and it's going to drive you to the water system. So all in all, I see this as very bullish for Bitcoin. Why? Because why would we use the CBDC system or the FedNow system when we have that refreshing glass of water that is Bitcoin, and it offers that freedom of it? So yes, I think this is bullish. I think this is bullish for Bitcoin. I think this is going to implement and put the foot in the door for CBDCs. And I think that this war of currencies, digital currencies, is going to be a slobber knocker, and only jabronis will get the smackdown.
All right, one extra point for saying jabronis there, and also the urine references make me think of the old school Bear Grylls memes. I miss those memes where you say, "Oh, I woke up 6 a.m. Better drink my urine." Great memes. Go back. Some of the older people might remember that one. But all right, mind your biz. I kind of want to ask you about privacy coins, if I'm going to be honest here. I kind of want to ask, some Fed question or CBDC. But what about privacy coins? To me, this is the world's best commercial for Monero and Zcash and some other. Maybe you have other opinions on Zcash or what privacy coins could be better than others. Is this going to drive adoption for Monero and other privacy coins, or will it take years for people to realize what might be happening behind the scenes?
That's a great question. And to the audience, hey, welcome back to Around the Blockchain. You're in for a treat. So. Hey. I've got to, we're here for the hit. I'm still a dad. Hey, just a reminder, still a dad. So, yeah, got these for days. But as far as privacy coin adoption, there's always that concern, right? That regulators have had privacy coins in the crosshairs for years, for almost as long as they've been around. And one of the biggest claims of privacy coins, their effectiveness, their efficacy, if you will, is that they are used for illicit things in the same way that cash is used for illicit things. Now hear me out. I'm not saying that people should go do crime. Every crime, by definition, is against the law, and you should not break laws. Don't ever do crimes. Bad. But what I am saying is things that preserve privacy wind up being somewhat attractive to criminals because they know that they can't hide what they're doing. So generally speaking, dark markets, whatever dark markets use as their as their medium of exchange, it's probably a good bet that it's going to help preserve your privacy. And in the early days of Monero, that was a big claim to fame. They said, well, we can prove there are all these like onion sites, right, on Tor that on the dark web that use our currency. That is proof of our legitimacy. And the same was true of Bitcoin early on. People thought that Bitcoin was private. Clearly, they were wrong. But this is one of those markers is would somebody feel confident that they could use it for crime? That would just mean that it's useful for maintaining your privacy. It doesn't mean you should do crime, and it doesn't mean that every time you want to use something that preserves your privacy that you are being a criminal. And it's dangerous to think of it that way. We can talk more about privacy at another time, but to keep the main thing, these privacy coins, they're still extremely useful. And they've been in the crosshairs of regulators for much longer than the conversation about FedNow and much, much longer than the conversation about CBDCs. So both FedNow, if it does feed into CBDCs. And FedNow, if it just has any like kind of sort of more pedestrian on-ramp into other blockchain systems like Ethereum or like Cardano or any of these other smart contract systems with tokens that we know and like that maybe aren't as private, it still kind of poses a threat to privacy coins, because the whole point is to de-anonymize the rest of cryptocurrency. So even if it doesn't launch with a CBDC, FedNow, I think, poses a risk to privacy in general, because it will eventually kind of map all the on-ramps and off-ramps of this new system onto different blockchains that we already know and love. So will it increase the usage of privacy coins? Well, DZ, let me just answer for myself that I don't own any Monero or any of the privacy coins that you can prove. So I know that my friends, they might think it's a good idea to use privacy coins, but you'll never know.
You'll never know. You'll never know, folks there. Hey, and if you really want to hide your coins, mine it. Then, hey, where'd it come from? Who knows? No one knows. VPN. All right, well, we have Super Chat I want to wait till we're going to go to Crypto Lifer from the Biomex 100X Lifer Cup and Handy Baby. All right, well, let's talk about a Cup and Handy. Let's talk about price. Let's talk about maybe not TA and charts, but now, Lifer, this might sound like a dumb question, but ultimately, is this good for Bitcoin and Bitcoin's price?
I mean, over time, yeah, I mean, the idea is we want adoption. We want people to talk about it. Any publicity is good publicity in a way, you know? The more Fed comes out, I think it is, because it's going to make people realize that there's an alternative. Fed what? Fed, huh? Yeah, that's that Fed coin, man. Conspiracy, bro. You got to get Bitcoin. So it's going to start the conversation. It's getting real. Also, a lot of people had their friends there was that one kid in the college dorm room, or that one person at work. I'm telling you, man, they're going to put a chip in your finger, man. You're going to be in the Matrix, bro. And like, people are like, shut up, man. Like, I'm eating my sandwich. Like, leave me alone. But like that person now, they're like, I told you, like, FedNow, like, I told you, like, here it is. And it's waking people up, I think, that have been hearing this type of, the 1984 George Orwell story that's been coming out, and it makes people realize that what's the alternative? What can I do if I get trapped in this system? Is there another way out? The one thing I will have to say about it, being the devil's advocate here, is I'm very pro Bitcoin, is at the end of the day, it's all on the blockchain. So are we going towards a society where everything we see does happen? It can be digged up. I was with someone the other day and he said, man, watch what you do. He's like, every single thing you say and do can be digged up at one point. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of the age that we're going into. In a way, could that be good? Because could it stop child molesters, people that are like trying to do bad actor? Are we headed towards this digital euphoria society where everyone can see things? I don't know. I keep pondering where we're going to end up in the next 100 years. But for now, Bitcoin is an alternative to a big brother type of system. So yeah, trying to be as long-winded as that, but it's
now I'm worried about the feds looking at my MySpace account from 15, 20 years ago.
I love you, Zeb. I love you.
All right. Well, last question here, Jayson Casper. I'm gonna paint a little story for you. I'm having Sunday dinner with the family with your corn. I got your Monsanto corn. I'm dipping it in the bucket of Monsanto. It's very clean. It's shiny, shiny like there's melted butter on there. We're all eating. And I'm trying to convince my relatives that FedNow is problematic. They don't believe me. They call me crazy. They're folding a hat made of tinfoil for me. How would you convince them that FedNow potentially might have some dangers?
Poof. That's a tough one, DZ. I'll be honest with you, because it's really hard to convey certain things to people that are completely just oblivious to what's going on. And, I can see why people are really going to like FedNow. I mean, how annoying is it to send money to somebody? It takes forever. You got to go through all these different processes. And, man, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. It's really hard, because the only thing you can tell them is, look, they're setting you up to just switch now over to a CBDC, because this is in a way preparing people, right? Because the ease of use, like right now with crypto, we just, push a button on our phone and people get the money in an instant. And so this is setting people up to get used to that instant gratification. And then all of a sudden, because right now, when we deal with money, when we deal with cash or crypto, it's just numbers on a screen. It's very strange. Like, all the hard work and energy we put out in life is so that we can get these numbers on a screen. Then we send these numbers on a screen to someone else's screen. And this is basically just going to make sending numbers on a screen easier. And then when they switch over to the CBDC, because I don't know, in my opinion, there's something that's going to happen that will facilitate that switch. Most people aren't even really going to know the difference because they're just going to be doing what they were already doing, except now it's a CBDC. And, you'd have to explain this to them and say, look, when they release the CBDC, it's going to really limit your freedoms. If you enjoy eating meat, maybe, you might not want a CBDC because if you eat too much meat, that's really bad and you're a bad person. You can't buy any more meat. If you like to drive, you might not want to get that CBDC.
I hear you got one of them gas stoves and you're trying to get a second thing of propane this year? Ooh, I don't know about that one. All right. Yeah. Well, the Canadian trucker example. Okay. So the loss of freedoms. Is inflation just over most people's heads?
I don't know what people
not our viewers, not your viewers, not the Casper Discord. We're just talking about you go to the DMV, ask 50 people. Yeah. Is inflation over 25 or more people's heads, would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, inflation is such a joke. I mean, everyone knows it's here, but we're so used to it. We've been conditioned to just expect that over time price rises. I mean, everyone's parent back in my day, I used to go down to the store with a nickel and I used to buy my dad coffee, a butter roll, and I have a candy bar left over. And, that's just normal. And people accept that as being a reality. So unfortunately, I feel like it's over most people's heads. They don't realize what's actually happening to the money.
That's a good point. I never really thought about that. Yeah, I grew up thinking, I'm a little bit older. I remember, Cokes used to cost a nickel. Now they cost 50 cents. That's just what money does. It becomes less valuable. Thought it was a normal thing. Now I'm woken up, folks. I've woken up. And if you are woken up, hit that like button. Let everybody know. Let's shock the Google, the Alphabet Inc. We need to shock their servers. We need to freak their servers out. We want to melt YouTube. Let's get this video everywhere. The only way we can do it, we all hit the like button. We all do it right now. I just did it on my screen. I hope you did it over there. We're at 248. Let's get to 300. All right. Well, folks, that is all we have. And I almost cheated Jayson Casper to the top there, but mind your biz. He just had all the alpha there. And, he's got the cool background, and Jayson Casper, he's got the green screen. Jayson, if you had 12 screens like Lifer, you might have got
it. It's going to change soon, bro. It's going to change soon.
Seth, give us little guys a break, man.
All right. Well, mind your biz. Feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts. And what do you think about Monsanto corn?
Well, as far as Monsanto corn, all I have to say to that is
balloon.
And the alpha for the squad is that you're in the right place, right? Not you're in for a treat. You're just in the right place. And I really appreciate the other panelists. Seriously, I learned something new from everybody who comes on alongside me all around the blockchain. Seriously, I feel like it's always a humbling experience to be here and get to meet such incredibly powerful people and add to what I think is a growing circle of friends who get it, right? Who get crypto and who get why I might be interested in it and who are looking out for me too, right? Who have my back. So thank you so much for having me back on. And, I'm always going to keep coming back and keep reminding me. So thank you.
All right. And we have another super chat by Biomex. He wants a particular type of crypto tournament in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, Biomex. You know that we can't publish any results of that contest, but that is all we got. And ice cream. Hit that like button. That's all we got. Until next time.